So when I got introduced to Bitcoin, I did what everybody does. I did a little research, and you hear about this person, guy, self-identified once as a guy, Satoshi Nakamoto. And so I typed in Satoshi Nakamoto into Google, and what comes back is Intelligence Central. The word Satoshi means intelligence, and Nakamoto is the surname of families from the central provinces in Japan. Mike, Intelligence Central, that sounds really close to CIA. So, okay, what if the NSA, CIA, somebody did create this?
There have been many theories about who created Bitcoin and why it was created. Some of the more disturbing and conspiratorial are theories that the US National Security Agency created Bitcoin. A few years ago, the CIA Project, a group focused on revealing secret projects carried out by US intelligence agencies, released a video claiming the NSA created Bitcoin. The group's major claim was about the mysterious creator of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, which in Japanese loosely translates to Central Intelligence, which of course points straight at the CIA. The video also claims that Satoshi could not have pulled off that level of anonymity without intelligence training, since no one has ever met the person with the pseudonym, nor is there any conclusive way to identify them. There have also been talks about Tatsuaki Okamoto, a real living cryptographer who worked on a paper about peer-to-peer systems in 2007. The rumor is that the NSA knew about his work and might have been inspired by it to create Bitcoin. Though these theories have been disproven multiple times over the past years, Mark Yusko, a renowned hedge fund manager and Bitcoin enthusiast, believes that even if these claims are correct, Bitcoin will not be affected by whatever endgame the creators have planned. During a recent interview, Yusko explains that the NSA could indeed be behind Bitcoin because the powers that be realized that the dollar's end was imminent, and they wanted a replacement that would still be under their control. Yusko also acknowledges that Bitcoin has no backdoor, but he is not so sure the same applies to other cryptocurrencies that are more centralized. We will bring you clips from the interview as Yusko discusses the doomed state of the modern monetary system, the creation of Bitcoin, and the endgame. But before we do, please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
What if the NSA, CIA, somebody did create this? And if you go back 2 years, 2007, there was a paper sponsored by the NSA, written by Nakoshi Sakamoto. I'm pronouncing that wrong, but it's basically just a homonym. And it's a real person. He was the head of cryptography for NTT in Japan. And it basically talked about a peer-to-peer system. I'm like, okay, that's weird. What if the NSA did create this, and it was designed because they knew that the dollar was dead? Well, why did they know that? Well, from 1776, when the Republic was formed, we spun out of the parent company, the UK, and we set up this little shop in the United States. And from 1776 to 1913, a dollar was worth $1. Now, it had a little fluctuation around a depression and a war, but it was worth $1. There was no inflation because there was no central bank. And in 1913, we copied the Bank of England, which had copied the Dutch National Bank. All right, so the Dutch National Bank was the first central bank in 1607, which explains partly how the Netherlands, which is about the size of Ohio, conquered the Spanish Armada. So just think about that. So Portugal was the world reserve currency, the most powerful nation in the world. Then Spain took them over. And then somehow, little Netherlands takes over Spain. Well, because they financed a mercenary army by printing money out of thin air. So then they get a little overextended, send people all over the world to settle. And, Napoleon comes in and conquers them. So the French take over for a while. But then a bunch of people from the Rothschild clan came to the UK and set up the Bank of England. Well, the Bank of England then financed steamships, so then they took over from France. Well, then, as we seceded from the UK, we set up this thing in 1913, coincidentally, the same year as the Fed was created. The UK invaded Mesopotamia, incurred a bunch of debt. The pound sterling started to collapse. And over the next 31 years, now it took 31 years for the US, right, which was a little upstart nobody from nowhere, to suddenly take over. The sun never set on the British Empire, right? The pound sterling was the world reserve currency. It was the most powerful. But we got nuclear, and we set up something called Bretton Woods, where everyone agreed that we would have the world reserve currency. So since 1944, the U.S. has been the top dog, mostly because of naval might. So what's interesting about all of that is the central bank controls everything. Well, how do they do that? Well, they do it by controlling the value of the currency and, again, siphoning the money to the top of the pyramid.
The proponents of these theories believe the NSA created Bitcoin so the US government could someday seize all Bitcoin and use that to restart the financial system. Though this is not 100% unimaginable, there is another side to the story. A person or group was inspired by the near collapse between 2007 and 2008 and how central banks responded by printing so much money. They then seized the opportunity to make public something they'd been working on for years or even decades, believing the crisis taught many people enough lessons about the trust system, as Yusko fondly describes the traditional banking system. It does not have to be the CIA or NSA. The decay in our financial system has been glaring for anyone who takes even a minute to consider how much value fiat currencies have lost in the past 50 or so years. Let's get back to Yusko's interview.
The point I was making about Satoshi Nakamoto, and then I'll answer the second part, was I came to the thought that, wait a second, if the government figured out that their only way out is through devaluation of the currency, so they're going to destroy the dollar the same way every other republic has destroyed their currency in the history of time when they get too far in debt. And you look at the history of empires, they all fail for the same reason. They get overly indebted and their currency crashes. And so if that's the case, they get everyone to exchange fiat for this Bitcoin thing, and then they steal it all out a back door. What if that's true? Okay, so we're really lucky. So Morgan Creek Digital, one of our venture partners is this guy named Scott Stornetta. And Scott Stornetta actually coined the term blockchain with his partner Stuart Haber in 1991. Wow. If you read the Bitcoin white paper, he's in the back 3 times. There are 8 footnotes. His are 3 of them. He knows a lot about the technology. And so I asked him, I said, I've thought about this. And he said, well, I've never really thought about that. That's an interesting concept. No. It's like that fast, Ben. He said, no. I'm like, well, what do you mean? He says, well, it's certainly possible that the NSA could have been the developer. I mean, it's certainly possible. It's a pseudonymous inventor, and no one knows who he is. But, okay, it's possible. But the way you're thinking about the back door isn't possible in Bitcoin because of the air gap. He said, now with Ethereum, that could have a back door. It's like, whoa. So, topic for another day. So, the point on the government taking it, the government can't seize Bitcoin. It's decentralized, right? They would have to hack 51% of the computer simultaneously. Even the government can't do it. Can they make it illegal? Can they do an executive order 6102 like 1933? This is funny too. On 4/5/33, executive order 6102, they basically made gold illegal. If you type Satoshi Nakamoto's birthday, it's 4/5/75. 4/5, nod to executive order 6102. 75, when that was reversed and made gold legal again.
Wow.
Kind of wild. And so if Satoshi were, right, government agency, they can't steal it all. Okay, so then why would they do it? Well, they could be doing it because they know the dollar is doomed and this would be a better system, and they could create hegemony by having that big wallet, and then they could move that once it becomes worth, many, many, many billions. Can they make it illegal? Well, they can try, but the problem is they can't seize it from you. I mean, literally, right? Because they could, if you hold it at Coinbase or some centralized place like Mt. Gox, okay, they could seize that. There are some laws around that. I mean, if they went to your brokerage account and seized your assets, I mean, they have to have some reason for that. But government's good at making up reasons. I mean, they seized the Russian assets with no cause. But okay, but what about if you hold it yourself in cold storage on a ledger drive? Well, then come to your house and say, "Give me your seed phrase." Nope, I forgot it. You can point a gun at your head or your kid's head. Now, is the government going to come to your house with a gun and threaten your family? I don't think so. But look, in a Mad Max world, anything's possible. Yeah. So from that perspective, it's very safe and secure because it's so decentralized.
Unlike physical assets like real estate, Bitcoin does not require one to remain in a particular country or region, regardless of stifling rules, so that you can keep your property. Nor do you have to physically and stressfully lug it around to escape the government's tyranny. This is one of the many appeals of the leading cryptocurrency. So, even if a time comes when governments resort to seizing all assets, Bitcoiners will easily be able to survive the financial apocalypse. This is why Bitcoiners repeatedly stress the importance of self-custody. Remember, not your keys, not your coins. Please share your thoughts on Mark Yusko's interview in the comments section below. Also, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.